Welcome to Thrive and Rise with Tiffany, where transformation meets purpose and self-discovery leads to impact. I am your host, Tiffany Tilley, author of the Know Thyself book series, your personal guide for self-discovery and transforming into the highest version of yourself. Do me a favor, please like, subscribe, and share with someone you love. Also, leave a comment. Let us know what you want to hear about in an upcoming show. Today, we're going to talk about rising from humble beginnings with our special guest, Wayne County Sheriff Ray Washington. Let's rise together.
People ask all the time, who the heck is low-cost airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now.
Call 855-662-0261. That's 855-662-0261. Again, 855-662-0261.
Hi, I'm the tax lady. Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? Then listen carefully. You may be able to pay the IRS less and save thousands of dollars because right now there are special government tax programs for people like you who owe the IRS. We can even help you if you have unfiled tax returns. And if you qualify, you'll pay less money to the IRS or state. Stop worrying about wage garnishments and bank levies and call the number on the screen right now for a free tax review. We know what you're going through. We help good people like you every day pay the IRS or state less taxes all the time. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, call now for your free, no-obligation consultation with a tax professional. Don't fight the IRS alone. Call the Tax Ladies team today.
Call the Tax Lady at 877-335-7471. Call now.
Let's get real. Ever feel like you're living life on mute? Like you've got big dreams, but no blueprint? Then this right here is your game changer. Know Thyself, Part 1. A Journey to Self-Empowerment isn't just a book, it's your power-up. Built for you, the dreamer, the leader, the one breaking cycles and building something new.
You don't have to wait to be great. You just have to wake up to who you already are. Inside these pages, real talk about self-worth, affirmations that hit different, challenges that make you level up, and goals that stick. Not another boring workbook. This one, it talks your language.
Whether you're 14 or 24, it's time to unlock your voice, own your story, and walk in purpose. Stop sleeping on yourself. Know yourself. Empower yourself. Be yourself. Grab your copy of Know Thyself, Part 1 today at thrivewithtiffany.com or Amazon. You're not just reading a book. You're starting a revolution. Know thyself. Lead your life. Change your world.
Ray,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining me today in studio.
Yes.
I am so happy to have you as my guest, Wayne County Sheriff.
Thank you for asking me.
Thank you for coming. So today we're going to talk about how you rose from humble beginnings. Everyone sees you today, the man, the Wayne County Sheriff.
Yes.
You've had to come in at a time of crisis.
Yes.
We lost my good friend, your good friend,
Yes.
Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon, who was absolutely amazing.
The best.
You have big shoes that you've had to fill.
Sure.
And you're doing that well. You have come in not only from an appointment, but also winning your race.
Yes.
Letting
Twice.
everybody, twice.
Yes.
Letting everyone know that you are established.
Yes.
And you've been doing a great job. But want to talk about, before we go into what your current role is and what you're doing in your role, want to talk about your childhood.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's go back a little bit. And I want people to know and see, because, you know, there are people that are watching that, like you, have had humble beginnings.
Sure.
And I want people to know that regardless to what those beginnings were, that you can grow up one day and you can become the Wayne County Sheriff or whatever you dream
Sure.
of being.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about your childhood. Where were you born?
So I was born in Chicago, Illinois, in 1960. Because I don't hide it from that, you know. I'm grateful to be
Amen.
65 at this point, right?
Amen.
So anyway, yeah, grew up in Chicago. Well, didn't grow up in Chicago, actually. We left Chicago when I was 7 years old. My mom, being a single parent, she wanted to come to Detroit to be with her brother, who's the late, great Bishop David Lee Ellis Sr. from Greater Grace Temple Church. Her brother wanted to come play for him. He was just starting, kind of getting started in his ministry in Detroit. And so we came and we lived in a 4-family flat, my mom and my sister and brother. And so single parent home, didn't realize that we were in a position that a lot of people are as in a poverty kind of position, being one parent, you know, and not having any other help other than her family, who would occasionally help and really see that we were okay. But we come from a family of that didn't have a lot. But we didn't know we didn't have a lot, because my mom did a great job with letting us know that we could do and be and have the things that we wanted through various organizations, such as the Goodfellas organization, who my mom made sure we had Goodfellow boxes every Christmas. So we didn't feel like we didn't have things that our friends had, because we had our Goodfellow boxes, which was exciting to us. So that's where it started.
And there's a big issue that has been going on recently with benefits.
Yes.
SNAP benefits.
Yes.
And you grew up in a household where there were benefits coming to the household.
Absolutely. We even had the Focus Hope when we would get the boxes of cheese. And I know you don't know anything about that, but there was, you had boxes of cheese, this thick cheese that they would give away. So anything that we could find, my mom could find, to help subsidize what she was able to do, she did it. And again, so we never knew that it was a struggle, although it was, because my mom did what she needed to do to provide for us. And I think that's where I get a lot of my thriving and surviving and rising, and because she made us understand that we could do all things, and we could do things that other people, our peers, were doing, and it worked. It worked, as you can see.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And in the 1960s and 1970s,
Yes.
it was definitely very different being on the system or getting benefits than it is today. It's still a
Absolutely.
struggle today, but
Absolutely.
the struggle was definitely real
Absolutely.
in the 60s and 70s, especially for African American families.
Absolutely. You had to jump in and get in where you could, you know, and be there and be intentional about making sure that you got yours, whatever that was, that you can get yours and bring it to your family and let us know that we could that we're all right, and that's how we felt. My brother and sister and I, we felt like we were just like anybody else, and when in all actuality, it was something that she had to do, and made us understand that we were going to be okay, and we are. And
Amen.
we were, and
Amen.
we are now. Yes, ma'am.
Amen. And that was, kudos to your mom.
Yes.
Because a lot of times moms struggle and kids don't know
Right.
that mom is struggling and mom is holding it together. And
Yes.
she did it sounds like an amazing job.
She did.
So when you were growing up, did you have dreams of going into law enforcement?
So, and that's a good question, because actually, I was always like, when we were kids, you had to understand that, you always wanted to be a police officer, firefighter, a doctor, a lawyer. Those were the things that you heard all the time. You didn't hear anything about being an electrician or being a bricklayer and things. It was in books and things like that: police, fire, doctor, lawyer. So anyway, it was probably around, I went to Fitzgerald Elementary School, one of the elementary schools we went to, and I got hurt playing in recess, and a police officer had to come and take me home, and for some reason or not, my mom was home that day, and then I had to go to the hospital. But Officer Cross was his name, and he made sure that when he was taking me home, which was not very far from the school, but he made sure that he talked to me about making right decisions and helping people as he was helping me. And that's what his job was all about, protecting and serving. And as he was talking to me, I'm thinking, like, I think I want to be a police officer. And it was that early in my life that I realized I wanted to be a police officer. And so I set my pathway through school to be just that, because I didn't, at some point, I didn't want to be anything else but a police officer. I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, but, because I love baseball. That's my favorite sport. I played a lot of softball.
You look like you could have been a baseball player. That fits. I can see that.
My favorite sport. And so got hurt in high school, so that didn't happen. But I still always held on to the fact that I'm going to be a police officer. So in 1978, when I graduated from high school, I immediately applied for the Detroit Police Department. Well, they were getting ready. They were doing some hiring, but it was getting ready to be short term because they had started laying off right then. So they kept my application until 1985. But prior to that, since they were not hiring at the moment, I joined the Michigan National Guard as a military police officer in 1978.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm going to be the police, so I'm going to do something while I wait for the Detroit Police Department to call me. So I did that as a military police officer. And then in 1983, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office was hiring. So the Michigan National Guard piece was a part-time deal, one weekend a month, 2 weeks summer camp. We had to go do what we do for being a military police officer. So I joined the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in 1983 because they were hiring. And so in 1983, I started with the Sheriff's Office, working in the only jail that the Wayne County Sheriff's had at that point, one jail. And did that until 85 when Detroit Police Department called me. And they said, hey, you still want to be a police officer? I was like, absolutely, with Detroit Police Department. So I left the Wayne County Sheriff's Office and immediately went to the Detroit Police Department for the next 24 years. And,
wow.
Yeah, until Benny Napoleon had become the sheriff at that time. He had been my chief in Detroit Police Department. I've always worked up under him during those 24 years in some form or fashion or another. And so when he became the sheriff in 2009, he asked me to retire and come with him to the sheriff's office. So I retired on a Friday and walked back in the sheriff's office with him on a Monday. And that was 2009, and here we are today in 2025, and I'm still there. So it's like 42 years of law enforcement and more altogether.
That's amazing. What rank did you reach in the Detroit
Police Department? I've reached the rank of inspector. which is a high-ranking appointed position by the chief of police. And it was the chief of police at that time was James Barron. And he became the chief, and he, not long after becoming the chief, promoted me to inspector at the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. And I ran all the traffic units at that point and the motorcycle units. And then Benny Napoleon, became the sheriff, and he was like, come with me, come help, because he didn't know much about the sheriff's office. He knew about law enforcement, but I had worked there at least 2 years and knew some people and could help him navigate a little bit. A smart guy, he can figure that out, but he wanted me to come, and I went. And so, and as we know, what happened after a while in 2020 hits, and we lose him to COVID on December 17th, 2020. And in the county, you have to have another person, whether they pass away, whether they retire, whether they, whatever happens, if it's a vacancy in that elected position, they have to pick someone. 3 people, 3 panelists: Kathy Garrett, the county clerk, Kim Worthy, the county prosecutor, and Freddie Burton, who at that time was the probate chief judge. And so out of 14 people, I was chosen to succeed Benny Napoleon. And that was like everything to me, because he was everything to me. It wasn't somebody just coming in, I just want to be the sheriff. No, I'm coming in, I'm interviewing for this position because I wanted to advance his legacy while I build my own. And so
Absolutely.
It wasn't just about, I just want to be the sheriff. I was very adamant and intentional about I want to advance his legacy. So that's why I am today.
And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That was amazing. COVID was definitely a rough time.
Yes.
We lost a lot of good people
Yes.
during COVID, and Benny being one of them.
Yes.
And I remember his brother was in the hospital before he was with
deathbed,
COVID,
really.
on his deathbed,
Yes.
and we thought that we were going to lose him.
Definitely going to lose Hilton. Yeah.
And then he survived,
Yes.
and then Benny gets sick, and he goes in the hospital.
Yes.
And we were hoping and praying that Benny was going to pull through
Yes.
too.
Yes.
It was absolutely unbelievable when he did not.
It was, because we really thought that he would pull through. He and I took what was his last COVID test together on the 13th of November. He had just got reelected prior to that, and on the 13th we took a test, and because there wasn't a vaccine out then until January of 21. And so we're taking tests all the time, and we both had a negative result in the test, but he had a false negative. And after a few days of taking the test, he went into the hospital. He said, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, what are you talking about? We just had negative results. We good, and he was waiting so hard to get to that vaccine because he wanted it. After having seen his brother and other people that we know, he was like, I got to get this done. And so you go into the hospital, immediately they keep him, and it's like an up and down. He's doing good, he'd have a situation, doing good, have a situation, we're like, oh, he gonna be all right. We're gonna make it through this. It's just a thing. And on that day of December 17th, we got the call that he had passed away, and it was like we were zombies. It's just like we just don't know how that could have happened, when in fact he was doing good at some point in the hospital. So,
And then what made you decide to put your name in the hat for Wayne County Sheriff?
Sure.
Did someone ask you, or?
No. Some people would always say prior to that, when Benny was feeling good, he was alive, and I mean, we all doing well. Benny's gone, when he leaves, you gotta succeed him and things like that. And people would often say that, when in fact, I wanted to keep up in law enforcement anyway. But then, I wasn't ready to retire, as I'm not still. And I said I have to succeed him, because we had conversations. He trained me. He was my mentor. He's everything that I wanted to be in law enforcement. He was already. And I said, and I knew him. So it wasn't just, oh, I'm just going to try to be the sheriff. No, I'm going to try to succeed. And my friend, my brother, you know, I mean, literally brothers, somebody that we vacationed together, that we did a lot of things together as friends and brothers. And so I said, Lord, I want to be able to succeed my friend, my brother, and prayed about it and interviewed and studied and talked to some people and learned as much as I could as what would I do as a sheriff, and fortunately enough, I was chosen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And you've been working very hard
Yes.
as sheriff. You've been working very hard in the community. And we know there's a lot of stigmas when it comes to law enforcement.
Yes.
Some rightfully so.
Right.
And then you do have a lot of police officers, a lot of law enforcement officers that do amazing work every single day, putting their lives on the line.
Every day.
For people and making sure that the community is safe.
Yes.
So how is it for you working in the community? What are you doing to try to help the community as well as erase some of the stigmas?
That's a good question as well, because for me, it's all about the community. All I've ever wanted to do, again, as I said earlier, was be a police officer, to protect and serve, to help people. And I helped people as a teenager when I was at our church at 16 years old, driving the church van to pick up seniors and from the east side and bring them back to church and take them back home, and just serving people, taking care of people is all I've ever done, really, you know, in my teenage and obviously my adult life. It's about the people. And so I wake up every day, as I say to people, they say, you still doing that? I'm like, yes, I'm still doing it, because I'm not working. When I wake up, I'm getting up to serve people, and that's not work to me. I remember when even younger in my career, when we would have to take vacations, and they would have to make us, some of my friends in law enforcement as young people that all we wanted to do was serve, make us take vacations. We don't want to take vacations. Then we had to take vacations, and we would call our friends who weren't on vacation. What did y'all do today? What happened? You know, did you have to arrest somebody? Did you save somebody? Because it's what we wanted to do every day. And so today still, as we talk about the community, if you ask the community about me, they're going to tell you I'm a servant leader, because I am. It drives my staff crazy sometimes, but if I'm talking to 200 people at a community event or 500 people at a community event, I then give them my telephone number, not my assistant's telephone number, my telephone number, because I don't think you can be a public servant and not be accessible to the public. So when I say I'm going to give you all my number, and if you need something, you call me, they don't call me and play on the phone with me, you know, or call me, I got the sheriff's number, here, I'm going to call him, I'm going to let you talk to him. None of that stuff. They just want to be able to say, the sheriff was talking to us, and he's so genuine and sincere that he gave us his phone number. And they don't call. They'll call every now and then about something that I can help, they think I can help them with, and I make sure that I get it done. If I have to pass it to my staff to say, make sure you get this done, get it done. Because, again, I'm a public servant, and you got to be about the public.
And that's leadership.
It's leadership, absolutely.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned that, and that was a powerful story about having to go to the hospital because you were injured as a child.
Yes.
And really being introduced to law enforcement in that way, and that really was the beginning for you of your passion to become a person that's a part of law enforcement, as an officer, as a sheriff. So have you been able to also reach back during your career
Mm-hmm.
to a young male and inspire them in the same way?
Sure. And let me say before I say that, I got a chance to, when I became a police officer in 1985 with Detroit, Officer Cross was still working.
Wow.
And I got a chance to talk to him and remind him of that's who I am. And he remembered it, and because he was a school officer. And that was I felt real good about that I got a chance to become a police officer, and the one that inspired me to be a police officer was still working. So anyway, as we talk about inspiring others and young people, I did that, and I still do that today. Back in when did my son come on? It must have been in the late 19s or 2000, I should say, early 2000s. Anyway, my son became a police officer through what he saw me doing every day, and he said, "Dad, I like what you're doing, and I want to be a police officer." And he set his pathway to become a police officer, and he was. And at some point, they were doing some layoffs, and he got laid off, and I was able to get him into Ford Motor Company because, he's in his 20s at that point. I'm like, you got to go to work, son. You can't just sit around and collect unemployment or whatever. You got to go to work. And so got him in Ford Motor Company. He liked what he was doing. And so when it was time for him to come back, he simply said, Dad, I think I want to stay at Ford Motor Company. Because the main thing, these kids, young people, he got a chance to get a check every week. Mm-hmm. And he's being at Ford versus every other week being in government work. So he was like, "No, Dad, I think I want this check every week." You know what I'm saying? So he said, I'm going to stay here. So that was fine. I was like, as long as you're working, that's fine. And you're doing very well, even to this day.
And we've talked about some of the leadership that has been in the department, and you and I have someone in common. My uncle, Jesse Banks, is a former commander.
Yes.
So I've grown up with a great respect for law enforcement. However, we did talk about the stigma. There are some officers that are bad actors.
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
So, you deal with the fact that when it's wrong, it's wrong. And we deal with it in various ways. However, there are times when officers will be accused of things, and it's not what it was or not what it was reported to be, whether it's through media or other people, word of mouth or whatever. So me especially, I give people the benefit of the doubt. I want to figure out the entire thing, and let's see if it was really what it was. Some things happen, like the George Floyd incident. It's got to have its day in court, all that kind of thing, but I saw a police officer murder a citizen. And that's just the way it was. We had some other things when some officers were convicted of killing in Detroit.
Is it Malice Green?
Malice Green.
Yeah.
And those things, when you investigate those and you see what really happened, and law enforcement was wrong. We got it wrong on those two things, and it's probably more. But what we had to do is call wrong wrong, and we call right right. And we don't convict people necessarily just on the fact that somebody said, or on the fact that officer was trying to save his life or someone else's, and someone lost a life in that. We investigate that and we deal with what it is. But we definitely want to, doing what we do every day, we definitely want the citizens and the people to know that we're trying every day to get it right.
And I believe you will with your leadership, with having that mindset.
Thank you so much.
As we continue our journey of growth and connection, let's take a moment to hear from our sponsors who make this podcast possible. After this brief message, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines, and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now.
Call 855-662-0261. That's 855-662-0261. Again, 855-662-0261.
Hi, I'm the tax lady. Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? Then listen carefully. You may be able to pay the IRS less and save thousands of dollars because right now there are special government tax programs for people like you who owe the IRS. We can even help you if you have unfiled tax returns. And if you qualify, you'll pay less money to the IRS or state. Stop worrying about wage garnishments and bank levies and call the number on the screen right now for a free tax review. We know what you're going through. We help good people like you every day pay the IRS or state less taxes all the time. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, call now for your free, no-obligation consultation with a tax professional. Don't fight the IRS alone. Call the Tax Ladies team today.
Call the tax lady at 877-335-7471. Call now.
Welcome back. So we just had a dynamic dialogue about some of the things that have happened and go wrong in law enforcement, but I know there are a lot of things that go right, and I know that there are people that are passionate about law enforcement and want to help make it right and make changes in the department and bring in a great work ethic and really serve the community. And you do a lot of recruiting.
Yes.
So are you doing recruiting now? Can you tell us about recruiting?
Sure, we're recruiting, and we're recruiting every day. Every day we work, we're recruiting, and I asked the entire agency to do that. We had a one-stop shop, big recruiting effort back in the summer, and we had over 1,000 people come to want to be a part of the sheriff's office. Now, obviously, 1,000 people didn't qualify, but we've got a ton of people who did, and we're going through the process of bringing them in to the agency now, and it's working, and our numbers are getting to be where we want them to be. We used to be in a position where we had to force people to work overtime. Well, that's kind of going away now because we're bringing the people in. They're staying, they're becoming a part of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, and it's allowing others who we had to force to work over 16 hours and things, which I thought was unconscionable to have people forced to work.
Yeah.
But we're getting away from that, and that was not anything different from law enforcement throughout the country was struggling for manpower. So
what do you think the difference is? Why are people eager to come now when they weren't before?
So I think the times are such that people want jobs, and there's not a lot of jobs out there. It didn't appear to be for those who were looking for jobs. So when they came to us, a lot of them didn't even realize they was even coming to be a Wayne County Sheriff's deputy. They were just looking for jobs, and so obviously those things didn't work out for them because you got to want to do this in law enforcement. But we had 500 or so that wanted to, and we're getting them established into our agency through our academy. And as I said, I tell my staff, I need you all to be recruiters. You need to inspire others to want to come be a part of our agency. I said, and I'm going to lead that charge. In every academy we've had, probably in a year, I've put somebody in that academy class. It's just one person. I'll put that person in there to say, I'm out here recruiting as well. If I'm wearing a hat to the airport that says Wayne County Sheriff or something like that, and a TSA or just a citizen going through the TSA portion of trying to get their plane, they're looking at me and they're like, you're a sheriff deputy? I say, yeah, I am the sheriff deputy. It's like, oh man, how can I get in your agency? You know, and when they do that, bam, got them, because I'm not letting them go at that point.
Yes.
And that happens in the store, at church, or wherever I am. I'm always talking about, you have a job? Or even the job you're doing. How you like your job? Well, I'm just doing this job. How'd you like to be in law enforcement? I'd like to try that. Got them, you know what I'm saying? So I'm doing that because I want to, first of all, inspire people to understand that law enforcement is still a noble profession. And our kids have so many options now. You know, they want to be social media influencers, whatever that is. I still don't know what that is. And they want to run teenage companies, and they want T-shirt companies. You know, I want to make T-shirts. And all that is fine. I mean, I'm like, do that, you know. But at the same time, think about being in law enforcement. You can do both. Tiffany, seriously, I've had 2 jobs probably my whole life, you know, and because I just want to work, you know, and I want to be able to work comfortably, live comfortably, and I figured 2 jobs will help that happen, you know what I mean?
I took a training with you a few months
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely, my CPL training. I'm a CPL instructor. When I was early on in the in law enforcement, I worked at a gas station while I was in law enforcement. That's when you had full service gas stations, when the attendants were pumping gas for you. That's gone away, seems like. But I've always done something else.
And this really is a calling. It's a mission.
Sure, it is. I mean, you got to understand that when you're talking about putting your life on the line, you know, every day, because we're out there to protect and serve, but what comes with that could be fatalities within our agencies, within law enforcement. And it has. I've lost a lot of friends in law enforcement. But for the most part, we're out there protecting and serving, and we're not running into those issues. But if it's 1 or 2, and it's been way more than that, it's too many, because we really are out there to protect and serve.
Yes. If someone decides they want to come into law enforcement, how do they qualify? You said some people didn't qualify.
Sure. GED or high school diploma, be able to pass a drug test, be able to pass a physical agility test, and be able to pass a general equivalency written test. You do that, which is very simple to do, you start your career in law enforcement. And we're still looking for those who want to do that.
Now, if someone wants to join the department, how do they get in contact?
Sure, you can
with
simply go online and you can start the application process, www.sheriffconnect.com, www.sheriffconnect.com. Or they can call me at 313-213-5170, and I'll direct them to exactly how to get started in law enforcement.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Sure.
And so also I want to, before we wrap up, you mentioned about going through the airport.
Sure.
You took a trip recently. Tell us about your trip.
I did.
A dream trip for a lot of us.
I did, a bucket list trip, as I call it. I'm getting those things done. So yeah, I went to my wife and I and some relatives and some friends. We went to South Africa, to Cape Town and Johannesburg for 12 days and had the adventure of my life, really. And so I get to say, I've been to South Africa. I spent 12 days in Cape Town, where I was able to experience or see even what Nelson Mandela went through when he was in Cape Town in jail for 18 of the 20 so years that he had to spend was in Robben's Island. And it's a prison that's in the middle of the ocean. And we got a chance to go there and spend a whole day with people who were telling us about the experience that those who were there went through. And it was even those who were actually incarcerated there. They bring them back to talk to us, groups of people who are there for the experience, to learn about the experience. They're doing that. People who have served or have not served, but people who have been incarcerated in Robbins Island with Nelson Mandela
Wow.
were able to give us firsthand about Nelson Mandela and the things that they went through and how great he was, even in prison. And so got a chance to do that in Cape Town, along with some other things, some tours, and well, it was very nice. And then we went on to Johannesburg, because that's where the safari was that we were going to. And I watched these things on social media, these animal things where these animals attack each other, and you know how they get to live in the wild, and as animals that have to figure out how to eat, and they have to eat other animals and things like that, and attack other animals. And we got to go to that safari and experience some of that. We didn't see any animals fighting or anything like that, but we saw a lot of the animals that you might see all the time in the wilderness and who are just out there surviving. We saw rhinos. We saw hippopotamuses that were in the water and come out, and it was unbelievable. And we saw deer, and we saw giraffes, and we saw other animals. I think they called it a warlof or something. It's like a buffalo or something like that. But we got to see them, ostriches who would come up to our vehicles. Yes.
Wow.
And they're bigger than you realize them when they come up on your vehicle. But yeah, we got to experience those things, and got to stay at a very, very nice hotel. Got to experience a lot of things about Johannesburg and Cape Town. So got a chance to do that, and I'm excited that I did it, and I've done it, so I don't have to go back again. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to go back?
I would if I had to, or if it just came up. But because there are some things that we did not see. But however, you know, the 16 total airline flight is a lot, you know. But it's not a lot that I can't do it, because I've done it before. It's this Delta One kind of plane that's incredible, and makes it very comfortable for you to have to travel 14 hours in a plane. And I've done that several times. So it's good. It's just very expensive.
It sounds like a great experience, and I'm glad you added on, because some people do worry about the comfortability. So you can take a great flight over to Africa.
Absolutely.
You can stay in a great hotel.
Yes.
And the part of seeing the animals.
Oh yeah.
And the exotic animals. In their environment, in their habitats.
Yes.
That's amazing. And then also, to top it off, going to visit where Nelson Mandela was.
Robbins Island.
In the prison, and actually talking to prisoners that served time with him.
Yes. Seeing his cell that was so small that he had to live in for 18 years of his time. It's just amazing to see and experience that. So now you get the whole gist of how that went, and so it was good. It was a true learning experience, as well as just experiencing another country and another continent, even, you know, being in Africa, and so.
Does that help to change and increase your empathy as a leader?
It does, because empathy is important, and I have empathy for my resident population that we have to serve, especially in our jail, because our jail is a county jail, and most of them have not been convicted of anything. They've been accused and charged, but they have not been convicted. And in America, you're innocent until you've been proven guilty.
And you have a new jail.
We have a brand new jail. Yes.
Brand new jail.
Yes.
A lot of money and effort went into a new jail.
It did.
And improving the the conditions in the jail for people that are
Yes.
awaiting trial.
Yes, and it's very nice. It's state of the art, because we come from some jails that needed to be demolished, like they're being now, because they just didn't serve our resident population in the way that we would like to see our loved ones who may end up there served. So it's very nice. You know, we're happy about it. Like anything that's new, he had some challenges early in it, but we've got all that rectified, and it's very nice. We don't want it to be so nice that they don't want to leave, because we don't want we want to get out of the jail business, right? And just have us serving people. Not that we don't need law enforcement, but we want to get out of that. So we tell our resident population, which
it's
I
not
like
a
to call
hotel.
them, don't get comfortable. I want you to be uncomfortable to an extent that you don't want to come back here.
Yes.
And we have all kind of programming for that to help them when they leave, that they leave much better than the way they came.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Sheriff Washington, I want to thank you so much,
Thank you so much for having me.
joining me today.
Thank you, Tiff.
And sharing your story.
Yes.
And being inspiring and motivating for people who are looking for their purpose.
Yes.
Did you have anything before we wrap up? Did you have anything that you wanted to add?
So it would be remiss of me if I didn't say that we are hiring again. We want people to know that law enforcement is a noble profession, and we want you to think about coming back into, thinking your mindset coming back into, you know, I think I want to be a police officer. You know, I want to help people. You know, and so I just want to let the people know who are your listening audience that we are hiring, and come see us and make good money and work as much as you want to work. And you know, it's just a good job, and there's options of, you know, you have other agencies in the area, but we want you to consider the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. You'll be glad you did.
And the emphasis is helping people.
Yes, absolutely. You get to help people in the street. You get to help our resident population. I don't even like to call them inmates. They're our resident population. And you get to help them. You get to talk to them through the day. You get to encourage them to not come back, you know, make sure that, you know, we're working on recidivism. We don't want them to come back. So we want to send them out the right way. And when we send them out the right way, then they don't come back, and we don't become the victims as well.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you do, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tiffany. I appreciate this.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you all for tuning in, for joining us on this episode of Thrive and Rise with Tiffany. We hope today's discussion has inspired you to grow, connect, and thrive in your personal and professional life. To further your journey of self-discovery and empowerment, we invite you to explore the Know Thyself book series, designed to deepen your understanding of self-awareness and personal growth. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Your support helps us reach more listeners and continue providing valuable content. Stay connected with our community for more empowering episodes, and as always, keep thriving with Tiffany.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship.
Call 877-588-0324. That's 877-588-0324. Again, 877-588-0324.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new CareWatch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The CareWatch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your CareWatch for free. The CareWatch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your CareWatch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your CareWatch right now. Operators are standing by.
Why would anybody do that?
If you're paying high interest rates on your credit cards, you're burning money. We're Consolidated Credit, and we've been helping Americans for over 30 years. Let us work with your creditors to reduce your total payments by up to 50%. Lower your high interest rate credit cards and stop juggling multiple payments. We help you pay down your debt faster than you can on your own, all while saving you thousands in interest charges. Consolidate your credit card bills into one affordable payment today. You don't have to be good with money, because we are. Call 855-732-6487 for a free consultation. 855-732-6487. Call Consolidated Credit today. That's 855-732-6487.
Are you ready to rise above the noise, reclaim your power, and walk boldly in your purpose? This is Thrive and Rise with Tiffany, the podcast that's more than just talk. It's a movement.
Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback, and I'm here to walk with you through every chapter.
Join Tiffany Tilley, visionary, author, advocate, and overcomer as she sits down with dynamic leaders, everyday heroes, and purpose-driven changemakers who are thriving against the odds, with real conversations on healing, growth, and faith, to bold strategies for leadership, legacy, and impact. This is your space to be inspired, empowered, and equipped. Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, or any major podcast platform. And remember,
come for the inspiration, stay for the community. Keep thriving with Tiffany.